If you ever go out, meet someone new, and start asking what they do for a living, you will probably hear the usual answers. A programmer, an artist, maybe even a musician. But how often do you hear someone say, I'm a game developer? It's pretty rare, right? Which is funny because being a game dev basically combines all of these jobs into one. Programming, art, music, design, storytelling, everything. So why don't we see more people doing it? Well, aside from the fact that most game devs spend 99% of their time locked in a room staring at a monitor, there's actually a much bigger reason for that. But before we get into it, let's first talk about what being a game developer really means. I mean, who is a game developer really? Is it just someone who makes games? Well, yeah, obviously, but what does it actually mean to make a game? I could make a character move, jump, and collect coins. Does that make me a game developer? Is it about crafting a great design, creating beautiful art and graphics? Maybe it's about being creative, doing something unique that no one's ever done before. Well, it's actually all of that and a lot more. Which brings up another question. Why even bother making a game in the first place? I mean, the answer seems pretty obvious, right? It's cool as hell. You're building worlds, telling stories, creating something that other people can live in. But as cool as it sounds, the reality behind it is a lot less glamorous. Meet Jeff. Jeff's a student who loves playing games. Like, a lot. He's played so many games to the point where he feels like he has seen everything. One day while playing his favorite game, he thinks to himself, this game is perfect, but if it just had this one item or this one mechanic, it would be even better. Then another day, he tries a brand new game and instantly feels bored. It's the same loop again, same ideas, same gameplay, nothing feels new anymore. Time passes, Jeff keeps gaming, keeps studying, living life, until one day he stumbles upon a YouTube video. The title reads, The Game Developer Who Made $1 million from His First Game. Of course, he clicks it. He watches how this one developer built something small, but it blew up. Millions of players, millions of dollars, and suddenly something clicks in Jeff's mind. He remembers all those bland games, all those what-if moments he had over the years, and then he decides, you know what? I'm going to make a game, get rich, and I'll make it better than anything I've ever played. And that's where the story really begins. Most game developers, especially solo devs, all start the same way. Massive ambition, big dreams, and a ton of ideas for their perfect game. We call it the dream game. I mean, think about it. No sane person would decide to learn art, music, programming, design, and marketing all at once. I got tired from just listing them. You could just master one of those and have a pretty good career. But game devs, they look at all that and say, yeah, sure, I can do everything myself. Why is that? Because there is something bigger than all those obstacles. A dream. So, Jeff starts learning programming, and instantly, he's hit with walls of text, weird syntax, strange rules, and a bunch of alien words that makes absolutely no sense. What does math have to do with ceilings and floors, exactly? But hey, it's fine. He keeps telling himself it's all for the dream, and somehow that dream pushes him through. Slowly, he starts to get it. He finishes his first tutorial, a Pong clone, then a Flappy Bird clone, and finally, he feels unstoppable. The code makes sense, the logic connects, and for the first time, he feels like he understands how games actually work. And that's when Jeff decides, it's time. It's time to make his own game, his dream game.
It all makes sense now.
No, it damn well doesn't.
And that's where most game dev careers start and end. Jeff begins making his dream game, only to be stopped immediately by his first obstacle, art. Up until now, he's just been importing assets from tutorials. You know, drag, drop, done. But now, he needs to actually make his own. So, he dives into learning art. Months of studying human anatomy, color theory, 3D modeling, texturing, rigging, and whatever UV unwrapping means. All of this while working a minimum wage job. Or worse, not working at all, convincing himself it will all pay off once the game is finished. Which, by the way, is mistake number I don't even know anymore. Because here's the thing, one of the biggest reasons people don't stay in game development is simple.
Money!
Jeff quickly realizes that making games takes a lot of time. Like months or even years of late nights, bad posture, and way too much caffeine. And if you've got a side job, that time doubles, maybe even triples. You are basically in a race to finish your game before you run out of money, or sanity, whichever comes close. So not only do you have to learn at least 5 different skill sets just to make the game, but you also have to somehow survive long enough to see any return from it. The more Jeff spends time making his game, the more he starts to realize that. And eventually, all that ambition and those dreams begins to turn into pressure and burnout. Especially when he realizes that he can't be great at everything. He might be amazing at art, music, but terrible at programming. Or maybe he's decent at art, okay with music, but his game design is awful, which means the game just isn't fun. Then he looks at his massive to-do list, compares it to what he's actually done and realizes, with a game this big, he's never going to finish it. So he's left with 3 painful choices. Option number 1, cut down the scope of the game. Remove all those ambitious features he dreamed about and settle for a much smaller version of his original idea. Option number 2 is to find a team. People who can fill in the areas where he's lacking and complete the parts he can't do alone. And option number 3, just call it quits and go get a full-time job in one of the skills he learned along the way. The problem is, the first 2 options comes with their own costs. Having more people means having more opinions, which might sound like a good thing, but that comes at the cost of less freedom. You're no longer the only one making decisions. It's no longer your game or idea. It becomes the team's game. And let's be real, he probably doesn't even have the money to hire a team anyway. So that leaves the first option, cutting down on features. It still hurts, but at least it's your decision. You decide what features to keep and what features to cut down. Because quitting after all that time and effort, that just feels like throwing everything away. So for Jeff, the best option was to cut corners and make a smaller game. At this point, you probably hate game development already. And honestly, you wouldn't be wrong. But here's the thing, there's no easy road to success. If everyone could make their ultimate dream game, then no one would be special. That logic applies to any field, whether it's a 9-to-5 job or freelancing. If you're not putting in more effort than the average person, you probably won't get anywhere. The only difference with game development is the average person in game dev is already operating at a level most people can't even reach. Jeff eventually realizes that it's all about taking tiny steps. He cuts down a lot from his original game, he stops reworking the movement system every time he learns something new, he resists adding every cool feature he sees in other games. Instead, he decides to work with what he already has to finish the game, even if it's not perfect. And when he finally releases it on Steam, it's kind of alright. He didn't get rich overnight, but he earns enough to barely live a normal life. And more importantly, he finally has something done. With all that knowledge he's gained about what he can and can't do, he starts working on a smaller, more focused project. This time, maximizing fun and experience rather than trying to cram everything into one endless dream game. After his 4th, or maybe 5th release, he finally creates a hit, one that makes more money than he ever imagined. And while most people would probably retire after that kind of success, Jeff doesn't. Because he realizes something important. He didn't start making games for the money. He did it for the freedom and the creativity. It's incredibly hard to succeed in an industry where you work harder than anyone, earn less than most, and have zero guarantee of success. That's why so many game devs quit once they hit that wall of burnout and overwhelm. But just like in any game, you learn with every attempt. You get better at analyzing what works, what doesn't, what to do, and what to avoid. You might fail your first time, maybe even your second or third, but when you finally make something that people genuinely love, that moment feels exactly like beating that impossible boss you've been stuck on for days. And when that happens, all the stress, sleepless nights, and sacrifices suddenly feels worth it. Now, Jeff is just one of many cases of game developers. Some just wants to work for the gaming company of their dreams, others want to tell their stories through a more expressive medium than books or comics. But in the end, every game developer can relate to Jeff's story in one way or another. Especially me, at least in the money department. I'm currently in the phase of making my first commercial game, and yeah, to be completely real, I have almost no money. So, if you'd like to support me and my game, you can check out my Patreon. I post early content there, and I've already released 2 playtesting versions for my game Sky Defense, which is a mix of tower defense and Balatro elements. And if you enjoyed this video, a simple like or comment would really help push it through the algorithm. It took a lot of time and effort to make this one, so I genuinely appreciate it. That said, this is it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.